Okay, welcome back. In the last podcast, we talked about what AJAX is and what AJAX does. And in this particular podcast, I want to discuss frameworks for a minute. Now, what is a framework? Well, let's back up a minute and let's talk about just programming with JavaScript in general. And one of the issues that you're going to run across as you become more prolific as a JavaScript programmer is redundancy. And so let's say that you have 20 clients 1 year and they all require you to program in login pages. By about number 5 of 20, you're going to start getting one, bored, and two, frustrated because you're reinventing the wheel. You're recoding the same stuff every time. So what a framework exists to do is to try to consolidate a lot of that stuff so you don't have to repeat it over and over again. Now, what a framework is, and I'm going to show you one called Mootools here. There's several. The three big ones, it seems right now, are jQuery, Scriptaculous, and this one is called Mootools. All of them are great. I'll tell you why I have a preference to Mootools over the other in a minute, but that's not to belittle or take anything away from the other two. But basically what it is a framework is a file. It's a JavaScript file, and you're going to download this file, upload it to your server, and then you can manipulate JavaScript effects, stuff on the web page, all your AJAX stuff, without having to rewrite JavaScript every time. Now, each one of these frameworks has a little language or an API, programming interface, that you have to learn to interact with the framework, but the learning curve on it is relatively small compared to what it takes to learn JavaScript in general, and they're going to make things a lot easier for you every time when you get used to using this. Now, all three of these are open source projects, so essentially programmers get together and do these on a pro bono basis, but they're really powerful. They're used by major companies. The only reason that I prefer Mootools over the others, well, there's several reasons that I'm going to show you in a second, but the main reason is it just seems I end up using frameworks to control animations on pages a lot of times, and it seems that Mootools really has the smoothest animation of the three that are out there. Again, that's not to take anything away from the other two, from jQuery or Scriptaculous, and there's others too, but that's simply my preference in my own experience on this one. The other thing I like about Mootools is if you go here, and I'm on the Mootools homepage here, but they talk about browser compatibility, the open source license, all this stuff. But if you go under download, you can do a simple download and just grab what you need for the Mootools framework, which is great when you're developing. And you can see these are pretty small, like 63K, 75K, and even 95K for the uncompressed version. But you can do an advanced download where I can go here and I can download only the elements I need. So for instance, if I'm only doing a simple animation, or if I'm only doing a simple JavaScript query, or AJAX query, I can only download the functions that I need, and what this does is it makes the file even smaller. Okay, so that might be of use to you if you're concerned about download times, things like that. And that's a big advantage to Mootools, is that you are able to download components specifically and not necessarily the entire JavaScript framework. But anyway, either way, if you go over also under, here under Docs, this is all the documentation. It shows you how to use various things, and it's divided into different elements. There's the core elements, the native elements, class, element, utilities, effects, so on and so forth. You can get all this information here, extensive documentation on how to use things, what syntax is used, what you have to write in order to talk to those functions in JavaScript, etc., or in their framework. But if you don't know anything about Mootools and you want to know what it does, let's go over to the last tab over here on the left for the demos. I'm going to show you some stuff in here. Again, this is divided into the basic sections. There's basics, events, effects, requests, and plugins. And I can get some demos here of how things work to kind of give me an idea of what it's capable of. And these are fairly simple, and you can extend them. I prefer the demos to be pretty simple, because then I just need to see the basic element of how it works, and I can take it from there and expand it into what I'm designing. But if we go down here real quick, I'm going to go down to, for instance, effects. Okay, let's go down to fx.slide. Okay, and this gives me some buttons here, and this is going to show you how you can control effects on the page. For instance, this is a simple div with some styles in it. If I hit under vertical, if I hit slide out, you'll see that it vertically slides everything out. I can also hit slide in, it brings it back in. I can also toggle them back and forth, and I can do a simple hide and a simple show. And it gives me status of opened or closed, which is kind of nice, so I might manipulate that in whatever I'm writing. Under that, you can see horizontal does the same thing, except this time it's horizontal. Let's bring it back in, you can toggle it, etc. just works on a horizontal scale rather than a vertical scale. So there's a simple, demo of how that works. If you go up to events, this shows you the event effects here. Let's go to mouse enter. And what an event is pretty much what it sounds like. An event is when something happens. And in this particular case, it's when the mouse either enters or leaves a defined region. Okay? So for instance, this square over here, if I just take the mouse and I enter the mouse over the square, you can see the background changes color, which is kind of nice because, as we know from the CSS specification with working with links, is that we can change the color of an A tag, but what this adds is this element of kind of a tween between the two colors. You see a smooth transition. It doesn't turn into that pea soup color. It fades in and out. Below it is a menu example, and this one's really nice too. If I bring the mouse over, you can see that the div extends and gives my my links within, and when on the event of leaving, it brings it back up. So anyway, that's basically some of the demos of what Mootools will do for you. So we'll move on, and we're going to do a specific example in the next video.